Hi, this is Ron from 724 Support TV with a follow-up to the build of a Fractal Arc Mini with a Corsair push-pull water-cooled configuration and an i7-3770K Ivy Ridge processor. This has been built out as a rendering machine and we're really quite happy with it, and I wanted to show you some of the specific details in response to some of the questions people have had. As you can see, it's built out with a pair of monitors powered by a GTX 670, and we've got the i7-3770K overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz. That's working out really well. It's primarily has SSD storage, although it's got a couple of spinning drives for backup. We'll pull in for a closer look at that. In addition, we have a Philco Cherry MX Brown mechanical keyboard and a wireless mouse, mostly in red for color matching. Speaking of color matching, we have cut out and installed a window in the side panel, which was then painted red to match the overall theme. And I've done some custom wiring inside that you'll see in a moment. But overall, it's working really well. It's quite a speedy machine to use and is quite quiet in normal operations, although we do have a fan control. We can make it quite loud if we need to for periods of time when we're doing rendering with all 8 cores. Since this was a rendering machine, we focused more on speed than we did on overall reliability or general purpose use. So as you can see, at the top we have the Corsair H100 in push-pull configuration. The pull fans are hidden below the top. I'll show you that in a little bit, or you can see the video on that. Underneath the Corsair pump reservoir heat block combo, which you can see is at full speed, is the GeForce GTX 670, and it's on top of an ASUS Maximus V Gene motherboard with currently 16 gigabytes of RAM. We could pull that up to 32, but so far haven't seen a need to do it. It's pushed by an AX750 power supply, which has been more than enough, and as you can see, we've got some custom cabling in there too for the black and red color scheme. There's an Intel 60 gigabyte SSD 330 for boot drive, running Windows 7 Professional, and then a pair of Intel 52120s in a RAID 0 configuration, striped. That gives us lots of high speed. Those are all running at SATA 3 6 gigabit speeds, and it also provides a bit of worry in terms of ongoing reliability. So at the bottom we have a 3 terabyte drive that we're using for backup storage, and we have nightly backup routines using just Microsoft's standard backup tools to copy everything that's changed on both the boot drive and the RAID volume to spinning media. As you see at the bottom, we have an intake fan, and on the front, a little hard to see from this angle, we have a pair of the AP120 quiet fans pulling air in. At the back, we have a Scythe 10 millimeter by 120 millimeter fan pulling air out. So it's a positive air pressure, but only just. Under rendering, we also add 2 additional fans, and I'll show you how that's put together. We're really quite pleased with it. Starting at the top, we have a USB 3 media adapter. This lets us take SD cards straight from the video camera and put it in here to pull data much quicker than had we just used the USB connection on the video camera itself. So we get a good high-speed connection into the working memory. You see the standard Fractal ports, including an SSD or a USB 3, which we have a high-speed USB drive, a Corsair Voyager, that actually pulls data really quite quickly. We're really pleased with the USB 3 and the high-speed USB connector. Below this, we have in the 2 5¼ inch bays, we put a combo bay in here with a DVD drive burner, as well as a removable hard drive. This is currently a 1 terabyte drive that we're using to back data up and then move it to another machine we have that's physically smaller and easier to move around for remote rendering. It's not as fast. Then you see we have a Scythe 4-fan controller. It's set up with front fans, both of the front fans, the bottom fan, and those are usually set to halfway. And then the top 2 fans are set off. So right now, this is its rendering speed and volume. The side is off, so it's a little louder than normal, but typically we use it with the pull fans both set to off and all the other fans set to half, and that works out to be a nice, quiet, easy to sit next to, and still it's running at 4.6 gigahertz. And the temperatures are in the 30s and the 40s Celsius, so that works out really well. At full bore, all cores running full tilt with that much wind pulling through, we do get to the high 60s and maybe 70s, which has been fine and hasn't had any thermal shutdown or other issues. As you see, after a couple of months, there's some dust buildup, but the Fractal comes with dust filters ever it needs them, and that works out really well. Back to the interior, I want to show you what we've done with the drives. The Fractal comes with one removable and one non-removable bay. We removed the drive bay, which is easy, and then drilled out the 4 rivets holding in the bottom drive bay. We then added rubber mounts for an additional hard drive. This is the 3 terabyte backup drive. And then you can just see here, this is just a simple piece of 1/4-inch plexi that I had cut. And there's some convenient mounting holes that we just drilled and tapped to enable it to stand. And then we cut through and did some custom cabling to enable the pull in there so you can see a little better. Some custom cabling to enable the drives to get power and still look reasonably attractive. Again, we've replaced all of the power cables, or most of the power cables, with some custom red and black power cables. It's the fastest chip we can get into the socket on this motherboard, and has plenty of cooling, high speed memory, storage, everything else, and it's working really well for us. So we like it. It's a good rendering machine. Day to day, I probably would do something different with storage, but for its use, it's great. This is Ron from 724 Support TV. Please subscribe, comment, and like this video if you liked it, and let us know what else you'd like to see and hear about. Thanks.